Get everyone to move to the other side, you know. Okay. Welcome and thank you for coming on a Friday afternoon right before Thanksgiving. IGSHPA is a 27-year-old organization. It was first started up by Jim Bowes and Gary Eubanks and some other people. And last year, November, it was moved to the outreach unit of the College of Engineering. And this is a one-year report, if you will. We serve the industry, the ground source heat pump industry. It's made up of utilities and distributors and manufacturers and installers and drillers. And we thought it would be very good to hear from them of how we're doing, how are our plans looking forward, are they the right plans, are we starting to execute? And so we have, I think, 4 or so presenters today. We're going to start off with Jack Henrich. He is the last 3 years chairman of the advisory committee of IGSHPA. He's president of Bergerson-Caswell, and he's from Minnesota, so don't complain to him that you're cold down here. And we're going to keep our presentations pretty much on time. If you see Jack and I leave at about 3:30, it's not because we're bored, but I got to get him to the airport. So, Jack, can you?
Thank you, Bob. It's been a very interesting. Is this my tool out? Yeah. Works? Okay. I'm going to read most of this because I don't want to get any of the facts wrong and say the wrong OSU, because Ed would never forgive me if I did that one more time in my life.
Oklahoma State.
OSU. Okay. IGSHPA is at an exciting crossroads, one that will require growth of staff, facilities, and budgets, and will result in further visibility for Oklahoma State University, IGSHPA, its industry, academic, and governmental partners. IGSHPA is very good at standards, we all recognize that, and training, and could be central to directing, referring, or compiling research as done by OSU and other institutions. Partnering with other organizations such as the National Groundwater Association, Groundwater Protection, GHPC/GEO, which would help us with lobbying and marketing, because we're talking with Paul, architects have no idea what we do and how much the costs are, correct? We have to get these messages out. ASHRAE, who does basically the interior design for commercial buildings, DOE, NREL, all have a role to play for us. We've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of studies. I actually have participated in studies from DOE because the people that are asking the questions once they get the government money don't know what the hell they're looking for, how they can help guys like Mark. And it's just, if we do any more studies, we need to get some studies that actually have something that we can take home and work on and are going to actually be practical for Garen and myself. We feel it's important that IGSHPA remain independent as to better work with all the players in the industry. The geothermal industry will require direct research by the industry, which will drive a dynamic cycle requiring more standards, more training. These standards and training programs will be referenced by many, including those who regulate our industry, which is getting to be a bigger and bigger problem for us as everybody wants to regulate it because they don't understand what they're regulating. Why is IGSHPA 2.0 with the goal of becoming the international center for research, standards, trainings, regulations? We expect this entity would provide the forum for interaction among all the emerging partners in the industry, and they are emerging every day. IGSHPA would remain independent of all other outside organizations under the umbrella of OSU as it currently is. We really appreciate the partnership. Possible new programs that we can work with. Development of a template for creation of state, regional, and international IGSHPA chapters. We see a growing need for people to get together and have a good template to be formed. We've already got the basis that we've started. We need to be able to get out and communicate that. Research coordination and establishment for information clearinghouse. There's a lot of information that needs to get out to everyone. Years back, we did a lot of testing at OSU. We need to get back to being a testing lab for borehole thermal resistance. Remember the bridge to nowhere?
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with those kind of things. We need to get back to that. And there are a whole bunch of other programs that Garen can think of all day long. So
Don't make me.
this is why we decided to go forward with IGSHPA 2.0. A lot of discussion happened. How we were going to move it forward was a decision was made to have a retreat of industry leaders. We invited, we did have a slide of that. I wish I would have had them pulled it up, but we had 28 people, Gary?
Yeah, I think so.
Did a retreat in Tulsa for 2 days, and we basically tore IGSHPA apart and rebuilt it from the ground up with everything that we wanted to see. A consultant drove this discussions. Although a lot of people said he just wanted to get the answers that he wanted out of you, that was not the case. He broke us down into groups of 5 to 6 people per group. So we had 5 groups that would all be working on different topics. And then when Garen's group was done with their topic, they would put it up on the whiteboard, and then all of us would tear the daylights out of it or agree with it. And so this was a whole, all of us working together as a team to move forward with what we see as IGSHPA 2.0. The consultant got all the documentation to IGSHPA staff. Senior staff reviewed the documents and edited it. And then all the session participants got another chance to look at those documents and give their input. So this was truly a group decision. I should also state that the industry leaders were Garen, myself, we had people from Oklahoma Gas, Randy Chambers, TVA, yeah, TVA, and heat pump manufacturers, installers like myself. We had designers and trainers, all had input into where we see IGSHPA 2.0 going to. Then they reviewed that. IGSHPA leadership returns the final document to the consultant to have him take a look at it, make sure that this all falls in line with how the group should work. And we completed the proposed strategy. Then we wrote draft bylaws. Have you ever tried to write draft bylaws for a group? It's just was very hard work. We worked hard to get it done. Then we sent the bylaws back out to the team. The team reviewed the bylaws and approved the bylaws. That was a complete design process by the consultant. Then I met with IGSHPA staff to ensure that we all understood where we were going and what we wanted to do with the board of directors for year 1. IGSHPA staff and design team determined the industry sectors. So now we've got all these voting members. Where does Bergerson-Caswell fit? Where does Garen Eubanks fit? So then we had to put everybody into the sectors and agree that because we wanted each sector to be on the board of directors so that everybody would have a voice in moving forward. So then we determined the industry sectors, and then we put forth we're in the process of it right now, the current advisory council put together a list of people that would want to be nominated and voted onto the board. And those currently are out for voting, and we're starting to get some tallies back. Excuse me, it's not out for tally. We're getting to see if people are willing to serve on the board. And we expect the board to be elected by December 18th. We have left to accomplish creating the ballot, getting that online, the election of the sectors for more than one nominee, the election results to be tallied. The current advisory council will then elect 2 at-large members, so that if someone two people that were qualified happened to run from the same sector, that we could get the most qualified people on the board. OSU will appoint a representative on the board. That's very important. We've already shoehorned him in, although I don't see Dan here. Dr. Dan, where are you, Dan? There you are. That unless something happens between now and Dan will be our representative. Dan was a very integral part of us getting this work plan together. It was I can't use the term pleasantly surprised, but the knowledge that he brought to the group and helped us look at some different things. And Bob and Ed do the same thing for us, because part of the issues we've had in the past that we would not always understand that as a sub-organization of OSU, what we could do and what we couldn't do. Well, those 3 have made it very clear to us what parameters we have to deal with. And I think at this point the industry is ready to work on that, whereas we weren't necessarily, I shouldn't say we, some of us were not ready to do that 2 years ago. Members will be notified of being on the board, and then at that point the current advisory council would be disbanded. And then the board of directors and staff, et cetera, we would appoint another group of board of directors, advisory council, to take input from the different working committees that we have, work through it with the committee, and then recommend to the board of directors exactly where we're going to move forward on that. So I kind of went through this very quickly. We only have a couple hours on a Friday, and I wanted to get done. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. No questions. We're not asking any questions. Yes, sir. Oh, no, too late. Question and answer session's over. Yes.
As I understand it, IGSHPA has some international affiliates?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And how do they, how do you coordinate with them, or what's the vision as far as from that perspective?
Do you want me to try to stumble through that one, or do you want to, Bob?
Okay.
We have a very loose relationship with our international chapters right now. We've been working with Canada. We formed IGSHPA Canada about a year ago, and that we want to work with them and get a stronger, tighter framework on what we will do for them. We talk about, you know, getting a framework on what training we can get for them. It's more what we can supply to these groups and getting parameters of what they have to do. And we have a problem with the code of ethics right now. You know, where people will go out there saying, we're installing geothermal, we're experts, we know we can spell IGSHPA. And then we get pictures of some of their work, and we have no, well, I won't mention the name, but one company's in Minnesota right now. But IGSHPA doesn't have anything that they can hold over these people's heads because they're not accredited by us, they're not certified, and they're not members anymore. So but those are the problems and the issues, and we feel, and this is part of the reason we wanted to move towards the board of directors, is to be able to get some, you know, people that have their feet on the ground, seeing what's going on, and to tighten down the restrictions on what it takes to be. We want everybody certified by IGSHPA or accredited by IGSHPA, and people getting continuing education that would meet to our standards. Did that answer your question?
Well, the international, I guess, international chapters are affiliated, or there's some coordination with them, but they're not.
It's very loose, right?
It's very loose. Is that right?
It is too loose.
Historically, it's been quite loose.
It's one of the things we have to do in our organizational design. Or you want to mention anything about that?
I can introduce myself.